Good morning.
Hi, Sammy. Good morning. It's early evening in Europe.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yes.
Yeah.
Are you on the West Coast?
Yes, I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Okay, great. Well, great talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
Hi, folks.
Hello, Shruti.
Hey, morning, Shruti.
Hello.
Morning.
Morning, everyone.
Afternoon.
Good to see you again.
See you.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining the OCP Sustainability Monthly. We have a full agenda today, so we will start with just a little bit of housekeeping, review what's coming up at the OCP Regional Summit in Lisbon in just 2 weeks. And then we have, as our guest speakers this week, an update on the DAC, the Direct Air Capture White Paper from Julius and Baranth at Microsoft. And then we can close out with some workstream updates.
Hey,
So,
Alex, I don't know if you saw the emails, but I think the DAC folks had to suddenly change. They'll not be talking about the framework of the white paper, but actually updates on DAC. So
okay, sure. Yeah, that's great. So we can hear the latest about what's going on in that area of technical innovation. Let me just pull up the schedule here, and I can share. So general schedule for the summit is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday, just welcoming people in. Wednesday is the day for keynotes. So we have a full schedule of keynotes that day. And then Thursday is our day for our sustainability track. So digging into that in a little bit more detail, starting with the keynotes. So this is all on Wednesday, as you can see, starting at 9 a.m. going until 11:30 that morning. And there's a couple of good sustainability topics. I mean, all of these I think will be of interest to folks attending, but there are a couple that are specific to us, including a panel discussion on the sustainability directives in the EU. So the CSRD, the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, and the Energy Efficiency Directive. Energy Efficiency Directive, of course, has a lot of specific data center sustainability metrics that data center operators will be required to report on. The CSRD is broader and includes social responsibility, social sustainability metrics. And then there, outside of the context of this panel maybe, but there are also reporting requirements popping up in other jurisdictions around the world, including 2 in California and the recent SEC ruling, which is being challenged into the courts, but will probably come into effect sometime this year. So it'll be nice to have a perspective on that, and from Lauren and Miranda. And you can see through the keynotes that many of our friends are presenting there. And then DC Sustainability and Brown in this interactive schedule is all day Thursday. So going 8:30 a.m. all the way until 4:15. And here you'll see many familiar names and interesting topics. I will start out with Iwa and Priya, just giving updates on the various sustainability work streams and projects, both in this group and in DCF. And then there are interesting topics for the rest of the day, which would take me too much time to read out. But I encourage everyone to check it out, even if you aren't able to attend in Lisbon. See what topics are being discussed, so that you can engage with the folks who are presenting on those topics after the fact and in the context of this meeting as well. Any questions or comments on the upcoming summit in Lisbon?
Yeah, Alex, we had a couple of sustainability meetups, right, for the project work groups.
Yeah, we do.
24th morning.
Say that again, Shruti?
On 24th morning.
Yes. So just reminding myself how many hours off I am. I think I'm 5 off. So at 3 o'clock, there's going to be a meeting for anyone who's interested in collaborating on the carbon disclosure work stream. So that's the joint work stream with iMasons. I think all of the leadership of that work stream is going to be present in Lisbon. So myself, Kelly Jensen from Meta, Ryan Cornwell from Google, Lalit from Microsoft, and Andrea Desimoni from Schneider will all be there so that we can take the opportunity to be in person and make sure that we make some significant progress on that. We have several sub work streams that are, or sub projects that are active there, which we'll be able to report back on. And again, we are announcing our structure and the work that we intend to complete this year from the stage as part of the agenda on Wednesday. And then our goal is to have outputs and deliverables ready to share in October at the Global Summit in San Jose. But all are welcome to that meeting, so reach out to me if you're interested in participating. But Rob Coyle set that up for 3 o'clock, and then at 4 o'clock we have a meetup, and I'm just looking for the location. Is Rob Coyle on?
No,
We'll have
I
a
don't
sign at one of the round tables in the exhibition hall as a meeting location. So check that out on Wednesday. Make sure that you find us, and then we'll meet up in the meeting hall there. But that can be that'll be a casual meetup before moving to the welcome reception at 4 o'clock on Wednesday.
So the one at 3 o'clock, just to confirm, that is more of a working meeting for carbon disclosure work.
That's right.
And
Yes.
the one at 4 o'clock is a general meetup for
This
sustainable.
whole community. Yep, exactly. And probably we can sort of move en masse as this whole community to the reception from the exhibition hall.
Right.
Thanks for bringing that up, JM. Any other notes on the summit?
I also wanted to call out, although I don't have the link open, I know for research and university nonprofit institutes, there is a way to sort of have a free pass to join the summit. So if you are a research university or a nonprofit, feel free to avail that, and we would love to have your presence and contribution.
Cool.
See you guys there.
See you there, JM. So with that, love to be able to, sorry, just a moment. With that, I think we can hand it off to Julius and to Branth to talk about direct air capture. Oh, Shruti, yeah, did you have something else?
Let's maybe just go over, the other work streams also, since we just spoke about
Sure.
carbon storage. Let's go over that part. And I also wanted to just use 2 minutes to do a call out for next month's session right now itself, if that's okay.
Yeah, great.
So I'll actually start with the call out. Quickly share my screen. And it allows me to. Yeah, I think it allows me to. Yes, no. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Do you see preview to next month's sustainability, or is it, I don't know what screen
We
it
do.
is.
Yep. Yep. We see Pankaj.
Okay, so next month, actually, this speaker came as a suggestion from Logan from our community itself. I don't know if he's online here, but we have actually invited Pankaj Bhatia, who is Global Director for GHG Protocol at World Research Institute, as the speaker. So he's worked for the past number of years putting together the corporate and city level, rules for accounting for scope 3 and mitigation of carbon, etc. He was, I think, basically the lead for all the stakeholders that worked on GHG scope 3 protocol in October 2011. So we think this will be a great opportunity for us, to understand, what is the maybe current and upcoming work from GHG protocol side. And we are also hoping to maybe, have some ongoing communication between OCP Sustainability and GHG protocol after that. So I would encourage you folks to maybe, bring in your questions and what thoughts you have about what might be coming up in GHG protocol, etc. So we can, make the most out of that session. So this is on May 8th. Sorry, I haven't written the date on the slide, but our next month session is on May 8th. So Pankaj will be a speaker on May 8th for us. So
I'm looking forward to that, and I'm particularly looking forward to asking him about accounting inside a multi-tenant data center and who owns what part of the load is scope 2.
yes, you should bring in all the questions of what is
I've been
the
relying on a reference to the WRI report for several years now, so interested to hear his opinion.
Yep. Okay. And then, so I'll stop sharing this part. Maybe since we already went over the carbon disclosure workstream, if I could use 2 minutes to also sort of talk about the other work streams. Maybe start with DC efficiency metrics. I see Sammy is online. Sammy, do you want to give a quick update of where is the work stream reached? What's the
Yeah,
paper and what
yeah,
have you?
sure. So we were developing the PUE, pointing out what are the concerns on PUE and what opportunities we have. And I think the paper is final, and we would like to submit back to the sustainability leads to review this week. And also, we were working on the IUE, that is infrastructure utilization efficiency metrics, for the last 2-3 months. And we have the deck ready. We are planning to present it into the regional summit. And also, it is almost finalized. Right now, we are working on the profile part of it. How do we take that metrics that we aligned and how do we bring that metrics out of systems and racks so that we can utilize in the OCP and define that so that we can align. So that work is actively going on. We are hoping to get it done probably another this quarter. Anything else, Shruti, you would like to add?
No, that sounds good. So if you are going to the regional summit, you will also catch Sammy's presentation on the workstream work with I.
Good, thank you. Thank you for all the participants. It's a really good weekly we were meeting. It's a really good progress there.
Yeah, they've been going pretty strong, which is great. Okay, and I know Jim, Ari, you folks were planning your next session. If you've decided you want to announce accounting for carbon accounting for circularity. But
Yeah, we have a tentative spot for 8 a.m. on the 18th. If that will work for folks, we're going to get it on the calendar today. 8 a.m. Pacific time, because I'm selfish and live in California. So
right. And for this work stream, carbon accounting for circularity, this is the second section as they just recently started. So hopefully,
yeah, and mostly right now we're just recapping what's been discussed in the other projects. We're dependent on quite a few of those, but we want to have a strategy for this year. So yeah, we should have a small update.
sounds good. I know Daniel, I think, is not online, but I'll quickly talk about the power telemetry work stream. I know they have basically worked quite a bit on building the device level sustainability power profile, which would basically help visibility into basically the power metrics at the device level, and also including some information of how that power measurement, sampling rate, etc. is going to happen. So they have worked quite a bit on that device level power profile. And I think they are soon looking to set up for a first review of their power profile, maybe in this main meeting, or maybe an ad hoc meeting set up with folks. If somebody is particularly interested, in making sure that they review the power profile with us, you can just put a note in the chat. So I make sure, or you can send me an email later so that I make sure you are included in that review call for the power profile. And I think, so carbon disclosure, we already went over. I think with that, there is one more item. So not an ongoing work stream, but we were sort of trying to push and start a work task for LCA methodology and standardization, and maybe like a product category rule development for, especially for our, semiconductor equipment that are used. So we are right now in the process of sort of seeing who are the members interested and also, having experience in that domain. There are a couple of organizations already looped in. I know Miranda also connected us. So Miranda from iMessage also connected us with some folks who are LCA expertise, Sustainable Solutions Corporation. And we have IMEC, who is also looped in and sort of looking to contribute to this. I would like to just throw a call out if you folks or anybody that you know, any organization that you know, are LCA expertise and can help in standardizing LCA rules for our equipment specifically, having knowledge of semiconductor related LCAs, it would be great if you can send a note our way. So hopefully we will have that effort going, within the next few months. Thank you. Please, take a note of that. That's the LCA methodology standardizing, or, building the product category rule kind of work. So we do need LCA expertise. Okay. I think that is all, Alex. With that, I'll hand it back to you. I don't know if you wanted to add anything about carbon disclosure. I just didn't come back to you.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I'd add, I guess, is just that we have our 3 sub-projects are, one, defining the disclosure kind of form in quotations. We're not sure if it will take the form of a form, but basically what we're asking for from vendors to the data center industry, an embodied carbon number, but also metadata like how you arrived at that carbon number, or what third-party certification you have, what tool you used. And then the second work group is coordination with outside efforts and programs. So an acknowledgement that this is a hot topic for our industry and others, and there are a lot of folks working on different pieces of this, including the EPA, who is a particularly well-funded effort to create carbon labels for materials, glass, steel, and concrete. And so we met with them last Friday. And then the third is comparability. So an acknowledgement that we want to do 2 things here. One is recruit more vendors to be measuring and reporting on embodied carbon. And the second is to advance comparability in some way. We're sort of yet to determine what form that will take, but that's the third subgroup, is just looking at that problem and seeing, even if we had everybody using or issuing EPDs that are the outputs of LCAs, there's still problems with comparability. So how do we help contribute to solving that problem? And I think with that, we can turn it over to Julius and Bharat.
I think Bharat will be the one leading
great.
today's session about direct air capture.
So unfortunately, Julius couldn't join us today. So he had to pull back. So he's traveling. So I will be representing not Julius, but the topic of direct air capture and, and how it could be leveraged in data center environment and how it could help us achieve our sustainability and climatic targets of mid-century and so on. So with that background, and thanks again, Shruti, for getting us an opportunity, and thanks, Alec, for providing this time slot. I'm going to share I'm going to share the screen, but I did not really put together a bunch of slides. But I just wanted to get a teaser going on to showcase what we are working on or what we are trying to explore or investigate. We just getting this back together. And at the same time, I am also representing the other OCP sub-project, waste heat reuse. And I'm co-leading that project with Jaime, who is based in Madrid, and he's going to be in the upcoming regional summit. So you're going to be meeting him. So I'm going to branch off and talk a little bit about direct air capture and a little bit about heat reuse and how this pairs with each other. And also talk about, what are all the potential upcoming next steps with respect to white paper development, collaboration, and so on. And let me go ahead and share the screen so you have some context. Let me know if you can see my screen. I don't want to show the wrong screen. Let me know if
Yes, we can see.
Right. Okay. Direct air capture in data centers. Thanks again. So Julius talked about direct air capture in data centers in the last global summit. So there are useful slides and YouTube link. So if people who have not taken, have seen it before, I would strongly recommend to take a look at it. But I want to use this chance to kind of reiterate what is the problem statement, what are we trying to solve, and so that's what I have for today in my agenda. So this is the only slide that I got. So what is direct air capture in data centers and how it could help us towards our sustainability journey? First of all, to start with, all of our data center companies, utility providers, hyperscalers, everyone are at the national level. We all have our carbon pledges, and we want to permanently remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, so as to keep up with our carbon commitments and climatic goals of mid-century, and we are all trying to do this to keep the Earth's temperature by not rising 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2050. So that's like the bigger overarching background. Now, why are we doing this in a data centers, which is already a complex environment? So let me get to that point in a second. But before that, Microsoft, including, go around and buy these carbon credits from the market that is already out there. When I say carbon credits, that also includes afforestation, biochar, and other mechanized ways of carbon credits. So if you look at the current carbon capture market, they are somewhere in the order of $1,000 per ton of carbon dioxide. The proposal or thesis is here that we as a data center as a data center industry, move plenty of air. When I say plenty of air, we move air in the order of several gigatons per year. By comparing data center industry with other commodity industry like steel or others, like we move air than any other industry in this whole planet. So for a multi-megawatt data center, we are going to be moving several cubic foot per minute of air through our data centers for mechanical cooling and other related purposes. And when we move those several gigatons of air, we not just move air, we move several gigatons of carbon dioxide with it. So that is the primary ingredient for a direct air capture process, where you have to move air. And we are moving air for a primary reason. So that is first starting point. And the second starting point is data center is also a place where it remits or where it releases low-grade waste heat. And that is something we are exploring in the other work stream. Hey, is there a way to monetize, or is there a way to leverage this low-grade waste heat and use it for any other useful application like district heating, greenhouses, so and so. So direct air capture is another way to pair that leg of using the low-grade waste heat spilling out of our data center facility. So in the direct air capture process, so there is an adsorption process through which you adsorb the carbon dioxide to the given media or the adsorbent. And after a certain amount of time, your media is going to get loaded up. It's going to say, hey, I cannot capture any more carbon dioxide, release my carbon dioxide. At that point, you could use this waste heat and you could re-release or release the carbon dioxide from the stored media, which you could capture, compress, and you could use it for other applications, which is also what I'm going to be hinting about today. So first reason, like direct air capture in data centers, we could do that in a data center environment because we move plenty of air inside our facility, outside our facility, and we have access to low-grade waste heat. And we are buying these carbon credits from the market, from the standalone carbon capture systems at this point in the order of $1,000 per ton. Some of these numbers are out there. But the direct air capture to function economically viable, there are a few numbers from the Department of Energy. We want the cost per dollar per ton in the order of $100 per ton. So that is something that we as a group, we want to work together, or that is the goal that we all want to go after. So with just a single slide, I'm talking too much, but I don't want to be that way. But I just want to give a flavor of what are all the different air handling equipment vendors different data center operators could possess. Again, I'm just throwing these images strictly for illustration purposes. There are no attachments or ties with any of these vendors here. I just got them from Bing. But you can see these air handler units on the top left, or you can see the dry fin fan cooler or the dry cooler, which are going to be a norm in the future liquid cooled data center facilities. And again, these are beasts which are in the size of 10 meter by 10 meter in cross section, and they are going to be moving plenty of air to cool the liquid or to cool the incoming air that is getting into the data center environment. So I'm just providing a teaser of where we could incorporate, for example. Again, those are just few options. There are plenty of options where you could incorporate direct air capture media or this method in your data center environment. So that is the sustainability opportunity that we all want to go after. And these are the next steps. So currently, we are in the process of working on a white paper. So Julius, so ideally we would have been talking about the skeleton. So I do have that link for that white paper, but I'm not stealing the show today. I'm waiting for Julius to come back and give us a broader view or a walk through the white paper. But in that white paper, we are totally describing our outlining what is the problem statement and what are all the different ways the data centers are positioned to handle this particular problem. For example, in the ways of air movement or availability of low-grade waste heat or availability of land and power and so on. So that's the white paper we are working on, and of course we are looking for more partnership and collaboration in this space as we develop this technology and start to prove out. So we are looking for more volunteers and contributors, not just from the data center community, but also from the likes of media manufacturers and from the likes of these different air handling equipment vendors and utility providers. We all want to get together, as we get on this technology. I want to point out one target. So currently, the Department of Energy listed this number of, we need to be removing 32 megatons of carbon dioxide every year using these using these mechanized carbon capture methods, starting from now up to 2050. So, but we are not anywhere closer to 32 megatons of carbon capture. At this point, we are in the order of 1,000 tons or up to 10,000 tons per year, but that's the scale up this community need to ramp up. Okay.
Got a quick question. Could you describe a little bit more what the white paper you folks are developing will cover, like in terms of the problem statement? I think this group has seen and understands, but in terms of what is the solutions or what are you covering on that solutions part?
Yeah, sure. So in the white paper, we're gonna point out what are all the potential opportunities or what are all the potential pinpoints where we could start integrating direct air capture, for example. So we're gonna talk about the options of integrations that, whether it could be a standalone direct air capture system or you could co-locate with the data center environment. You could, start integrating the air and you could start integrating the heat. So there, and also describing when we get into a data center architecture that is not just one. As we get into the AI focused or purpose-built liquid cooled data center facility, how the direct air capture economics would change in terms of airflow availability, in terms of carbon dioxide throughput. So we're going to be listing out what are all the different opportunities where we could start leveraging the direct air capture process, and also listing out. So until this point, I have talked only about the capture side of the problem. Hey, now that we capture, a few 100,000 tons of carbon dioxide per site, how are we going to dispose that off? Are we going to put that under the ground? Are we going to truck it to a nearby port? Or are we going to use the existing, carbon dioxide pipelines to get it to a centralized hub? Or are we going to look at temporary solutions like putting the carbon dioxide back into the soda or beer or whatever? So we're going to be listing out the different, the opportunities or the market ecosystem out there. Again, this is a bigger an optimization problem. When we say direct air capture, there is not just one ideal carbon capture media, for example. each different supplier has a different combination of a carbon capture material and an associated subsystem. You think of it more like cooling problems. When we give out a cooling problem, there is not just one cooling technology solution. There is a microchannel, there is a jets, there is immersion, there is single phase, there is two phase, there is this, that. So there is not just one go-to solution. So that's what this white paper would outline. Hey, so these are the different options, how best we could accelerate using the existing options and get it into the data center space, if at all. Again, the problem statement is big, and again, we're gonna outrightly saying that we're going to be releasing, waste heat in the order of multiple megawatts and gigawatts later this 2030 or so, and we're going to be listing out the availability of the airflow rate. So that is what the white paper would list out. What do we have, and what are all the options that is out there with respect to data center architecture, data center region, data center type, data center integration points, and what are all the different ways we could get together and start acting on it. So that is what the outline on this paper. And then, like I said, this is a call out for contribution. And we are going to be sharing the link to the white paper, so you all can take a look at it, and of course you all can give your inputs. So we would be sharing that hopefully in the upcoming OCP this work stream call, and then we are hoping to publish that before the global summit later this year.
Awesome. And then just one quick question. Are you sort of looking for like a regular cadence of contribution? Like when you're calling out, is this work on this white paper becoming a regular cadence where like folks should reach out and join?
Yes, that would be something that we want to do that organically, so that we have more participants and volunteers and start contribution. So yeah, we wanted to get to that point. But I would, at this point, there is not like a bigger quorum yet. We have not found, or we have not gotten to that critical mass where we are like, hey, let's start having regular cadence. Right now, we are having, one-off discussions. Julius and I have been integral in getting this at this point, but we are having one-off discussions here and there. But we will get to that point soon. Like Shruti, we will probably reach out to you, and we will probably use this forum to say that. And I couldn't see if there are any questions for me or Julius in the chat window, but please feel free to call it out loud. And with that,
another quick question. This is Sami.
Yeah.
I know in order to capture the air, you will be spending energy, right?
Right.
How is that going to be accounted in the matrices like PV and other things? Like, even though you're capturing, you're spending energy, and that finally that going to release you better ROI than not capturing it at all, spending energy at all, right?
Very, very, very good question, Sami. Yeah. So we are certainly accounting for the energy expenses, operational energy expenditures, and PUE is a metric. Of course, we are tracking the carbon accounting as well. So that is competing, but we'll get to that point. So right now, our the earlier research at this point, or the established literature out there are all pointing towards that. Since we have the already existing fan power, and we have the already existing supporting frame structure and so on, it just needs a little bit of slightly more energy to get that through the media, for example, carbon capture media. So that's how we are able to get down on the cost of operations, which would be reflected. But to answer your point on PUE, yeah, it could have a bump on the PUE, but it would not impede your performance on cooling or anything. But again, the PUE conversation is just starting at this point, but PUE is just one angle, like how much carbon can we potentially capture, without putting more electricity in that place. It comes to LCA, and then how much water that we could also potentially capture with this process. That would also goes towards our, water positive goal, which I have not even mentioned here. So there are other metrics, carbon usage effectiveness and others, which would be bundled at this point. And again, the amount of carbon dioxide that we could potentially capture per site is much more greater than what we would put into that site, provided we all would be using, green power, renewable energy source at this point.
So you want to have something like PE at zero carbon capture, maybe PE at 20% carbon capture, something like that.
Exactly. And that's exactly, we want to use this forum, like how we want to do this, like your data centers as it is right now, and then data centers with 25% carbon capture, and that's your hit on PUV, and data center with full carbon capture, that is your impact on PUV. But of course, this goes like I said, the current dollar per ton is in the order of $1,000 per ton, but if we could leverage the existing fan power, land, resource, and everything put together, we are claiming that we could bring that number as close to $100 per ton. So that is our win in terms of ROI.
Oh, hi, Bharat. This is Gopi. I'm
Hi,
wondering,
Gopi.
is there any hi, nice meeting you. I'm trying to see if there is any modeling effort also going in parallel, so that way, because data center heterogeneous mix of servers, all the old stuff plus the newly added servers expansion and all. So I'm trying to see if there is anything. I'd be glad to contribute in that angle, right? So, so I'm trying to understand.
So, so we're talking about direct air capture in particular. There are not, at least to our knowledge, there is not much simulation work going on in this space. Like it's you can assume it's relatively fresh. And Julius have been talking about it for like a year, so it's relatively fresh. We have not gone into the simulation side of the problem yet. Because it's much more complex, and again, like I mentioned before, Gopi, there is not just one go-to carbon capture media. There are a number of options for us.
Sure, yeah.
So, and how the given outside atmosphere interacts with the given media, it's dictated by a number of parameters and operational constraints. So we have not gone to that point of simulation, but that's, again, those are all the opportunities of collaboration for all of us.
Okay, great. Yeah, please include me in the loop. So definitely like to contribute, Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Again, we are just embarking on this journey.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Great.
Awesome. So other folks also, if they would like to get included, you can feel free to either send Bharat or me a note.
Yeah. Thanks, Shruti. Shruti, I would also like I mentioned, I would also, maybe I went to overtime. Do you think I still have time to talk about? All right. All right. So this is the other topic I just wanted to give some light on, which has some relations to the direct air capture before. So this is the heat reuse sub-project work stream that I am part of. I'm co-leading this with Jaime, who is going to be talking about this project in the upcoming regional summit. So if you are there, please say hello on behalf of me. But I just want to give a heads up that in this particular work stream or in this particular project, we look at different work streams that looks at the policies, waste heat recovery policies that's happening across the globe. And we look at the waste heat reuse economics. And by that, we look at the reference, what it takes to get a heat recovery room up and running and what's the bill of materials. So there is a dedicated work stream which looks at the heat reuse economics. And then the third work stream is heat reuse reference design, where we look at, what would it take to put together a heat recovery room that is co-located in a data center. and that reference design would also create SLDs and drawings and other specifications that we all can utilize together. Similar to other work streams in other liquid cooling or advanced cooling initiatives. So I just want to use this opportunity to introduce about this sub-project. And again, we are calling for volunteers for more participation. So I don't want to use much of the time today, but this is something that our team has done in the past. So this is the heat reuse map. I can share the wiki link, but please feel free to QR code it. So QR scan it so you can see the heat map that we have been building. You can see a starch asymmetry between the Europe and the North Americas, because in Europe you have a lot of these district heating options or these underlying network which can leverage the heat coming out of these industrial facilities at this point. But that is the map is something that we are building on, and we are gathering more data from across the globe. But please take a look at it. And here is the heat reuse article, 101 article that we published in the last Global Summit, which talks about all these different activities and different work streams that is happening part of the heat reuse. So, and this is the upcoming article. I would thoroughly or kindly encourage you all to take a look at this article. So this is an article which just got published last week, and a white paper talks about the different policies that is happening across the globe. If I want to switch my screen real quick, this is the if you click that link, it will go here, and this is the policies article, and you can scroll down, and there is and again and Shruti and team, you all mentioned earlier about the different energy initiatives that is happening in Germany, Netherlands, and how heat reuse is becoming a requirement in some parts of the globe already, like Amsterdam and Germany. So this policies article captures all the important information happening at the regulatory bodies level, especially focusing on the waste heat reuse. For example, in Europe, in the upcoming years, all these data center operators should have at least completed a techno-economic assessment study done for these heat reuse projects. So any data center which are above in the order of 10 megawatts or so needs to be sharing heat for an application or so. So those are the important messages. I mean, few or most of you all would have known about this, but I just want to reiterate the policies happening across the globe. Like I mentioned about the EU conduct on the data center energy efficiency and the Germany Energy Efficiency Act. This is all coming together. It's happening. So I strongly encourage you to take a look at it. So end of this. So what's the goal of this white paper, or where do we want to go from here? So essentially, we want to bring together, we want to create like a matchmaking tool, which brings together the data center operators, heat off-takers, energy utility providers, based on the regional information and and the location and geography and availability of heat and so on and so on. So this is like the structure that we are going to be presenting in the upcoming summit. So like I said, it's still the framework is still going on, and you can see the yellow stars are the completed items, and the orange are still the upcoming ones. Like I said, we are still working on the economic side of the problem, and that would shadow the other work stream, which is the reference design. And we want to collectively create this tool where you have the database of all different data centers and their facility exit water temperature, or their availability of waste heat, and how close they are to a heat off taker, and so on. So and that is something that we want to put together. And we want to have this tool ready before the global summit, so that at least a version of the tool ready, so that we could start building on top of the existing database. Again, just to give the amount of that, the data that we are working on with this group, there is a bunch of data that we have been getting from all these different data center operators. You can see there is different data center operators that we are reaching out. Some of are reaching out to us, and we are getting all these useful information on what capacity, what type, so on, so on, so on. Essentially, we would be creating these tools which we can all and leverage the waste heat recovery at your facility. Okay. So that was something that I wanted to discuss part of today, and that was my last slide.
But does this also, now I understand that direct air capture is also you're reusing heat, but like does the heat reuse paper or that work stream also concentrate on the methods of heat reuse?
No, not at this point. So to this project, any applications, including district heating, greenhouses, direct air capture, or water desalination, any project which could use that heat, it's like that's how this particular sub project see it.
Okay. It's not particularly focusing on XYZ solutions of heat.
No, not at all. Yeah. And like I said, different parts of the globe has different availability and options for heat reuse. And excuse me, I'm not able to see the chat window for whatever reason, but please feel free to ask if you have any questions or feedbacks or comments at this point. I strongly encourage you or your peers to support us on these different workstream activities.
Yeah, I think at least for DAC, you already got Gopi committing to.
So Bharat, I have a question. Thank you for the presentation.
Hi, Barak. Yeah.
Hi. So do you guys have metrics for heat reuse? And okay. Is there feedback here? Sorry.
Yeah. So that good point. So this was brought up in our regular calls as well. So there is not like so we look at ER of energy reuse factor and energy reuse effectiveness at this point as the metric, but we have not I would say we're not like built any standards around it yet. We're still keeping it open, and because we are learning that there are multiple data center types and options on heat reuse. So but energy reuse factor is still the metric that is already out there established, like the PUE, WE, CUE. So we want to use that, but we are also looking to leverage or standardize other metrics. So it's very well under construction, I would say.
I see. So there is a group that's looking at this?
Not at this point.
Okay. Because this is
not under this umbrella. Not under this. Yeah.
None of this. So in the European market, this would be of great use. And the reason is that there's so much heat recycling going on now, and the more data centers are being built, they're more getting plugged into heat reuse networks. And so having clarity about how much do you really get back, I think would be of great help. And if there is any interest in this, I would be more than happy to be participating in that. So.
Yeah, there are few. I would strongly encourage you to start participating in the economics work stream, which talks about some of these the cost per cost for installation, and of course the heating cost. So I would strongly encourage you to participate in that. And of course, we have not created a work stream dedicated for looking at the metrics, but we are shadowing other groups in looking at the heat reuse efficiency or heat reuse metrics.
Yeah, this Gopi, I'll sync up later, so in a separate email thread or however, so that I can understand and see what are the areas I can contribute. So we can discuss more. Does that sound good?
Sounds good, Gopi.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Bharat.
Great.
And I think with that, we are also like at the end of our agenda today. I think we will get back a few 6 to 7 minutes. But before we go, is there anything else anyone had on mind or wanted to bring up? Just because we have a few minutes, I want to just leave it as an open floor for any question. I do think today there were a number of, call outs and shout out for, if anybody is interested, reach out. So what I will do is send a summary of all of this discussion so that folks can appropriately see where to reach out for one particular interest. So I will do that. But if anybody else has any other open question, feel free to tell me. Okay. Otherwise, yes, thank you so much for that, Bharat. And thank you everyone for joining us. You're getting 5 minutes back, so enjoy your 5 minutes break before the next meetings.
Thank you all. Bye.
Yeah,
Take care.
thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.